What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Eddy Live Show, episode number 101. And I've got my good friend, Susie Lee, entrepreneur and artist, with me live tonight. Very excited about this show. We got some cool stuff to talk about. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Eddie. I'm excited to be on it and to connect with you finally and get to chat.
It's been a while. You know, we met the first time, and that was kind of like, I don't know how long ago that was. Do you remember?
That was in the good old days when we were, all just running around and going to cafes and not wearing masks and no plastic dividers. So it was a lifetime ago.
Yeah, it seems like it, right? I mean, what a crazy situation we've all got into. I mean, I think we're doing still pretty well over here in Taiwan, right? I mean, compared to the rest of the world, compared to Taiwan last year. You know, I think we did all right. I think we're doing pretty good. Hopefully, we can nip those things in the butt this next couple of weeks. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So how's life with you? How's life with you?
It's good. So running the startup with my other two co-founders, and life is good. It's fun to be working on a project that you're really passionate about, and just excited to share with the world.
Yeah, well, that's why I wanted to get you on for such a long time. For those of you guys that don't know, anytime I would release any kind of like short video clips on Instagram and Facebook, even on YouTube Shorts, that would be the mastermind behind it would be Susie Lee with her project that we're going to talk about today called Catapult. That is the software for the company called SoopahGenius, right?
That's our startup.
Yeah, that's the startup. We got a lot of really cool things to talk about today. But geez, I don't even know where to start with you because it feels like we talk all the time, but we never really have the face-to-face, right? But let's start from the beginning. I mean, you're Korean American, right?
I am.
Yeah, born in the States, obviously Korean parents. You went to college. Let's bring that one up. College at Yale. So that means you must have done something right in school because not just anybody gets into Yale, right? Yeah, that's so you're a smart girl, right? That's pretty awesome.
Although, I'd say that the competition when I went was way back when, right? I mean, this is when, there was not really any like testing prep or, this real intense like drive to, have a perfect resume for kids, and the pressure wasn't there. So, you talk to your friends and you'd be like, are you gonna take the SATs? And they'd say, yeah, I think so. And they're like,
okay.
Oh yeah, I think it's this Saturday. And okay, cool. And and then
guess I'll see you there. That's so funny. Yeah. So you went to college at Yale. You were on the road to be a doctor, you were saying, right? So
yes.
I mean, now you're an entrepreneur. I mean, there's obviously a big sort of mind shift there. So maybe you could tell me a little bit about what was happening in your college days.
Sure. So and I think this will resonate with a lot of Asian parents and Asian families, and maybe even kids as well here. It's like, so high school, graduate top of my class, get accepted to Yale. I'm going to become a doctor. My parents are like, touchdown. Yay!
Yes, Asian parents. They always get the doctors. Yeah.
And then, I major in molecular biophysics and biochemistry. So it's all looking so good. Right. And then I don't know, it's like after the first year, it was like sort of in crisis mode, and there was a lot of things, and this was much earlier. So we don't have a language around the idea of privilege. And I had grown up in North Dakota, and I was going to Yale, which was like this bastion of like privilege and, exclusivity, and just not feeling quite synced with everything. So
of course. Yep.
And then I don't know, I just didn't want to go to medical school and just didn't feel inspired by it. And then actually felt really trapped by that decision, and kept thinking, I need to just sleep as much as I can now because I'll never sleep again if I'm a doctor, like ever.
It's a tough gig, I think, to be a doctor. I mean, I know so many doctors, and when do you go to see a doctor? Is when you feel like crap, right? So imagine being the doctor and having like just everybody being like, man, I feel like shit all day, every day for like your whole life. So, I mean, that's got to be rough. It's got to be tough. Okay. So you decided That's not for
So
you.
I decided I'm not going to do it. Of course, my parents are like, "What? This is our prized child here." So
Of course, yeah.
So I said, "Well, I'm going to teach," and so they thought, "Oh, well, that's okay. So if you become a professor, that's okay. That's good, right?"
Beautiful. Yeah.
And then I said, "No, actually, I want to teach high school, and I want to actually teach in the urban public schools in New York City."
Okay.
And they were like, right, like what? Why do you want to do this?
Why would you do that? Yeah.
I felt like I didn't want to be in an ivory tower anymore. I wanted to like make a real impact. And I felt like there was a chance to work with people, work with students before they got too lost. Right. So I thought, somewhere between the transition of middle school and high school is a time when having an inspiring teacher, which I had, I think, in my high school, really made a difference. And
big difference. I mean, I can count, I think, on maybe 5. Yeah, on one hand, the teachers that I think really it changed my life, that were good in my sort of growing in my childhood. Yeah,
but they did, right? I mean, those 5,
for sure, for sure, fantastic,
memory, right?
Yeah, for sure, they're unbelievable. So you wanted to be one of those? Okay.
So, well, I thought at least, it
give it a shot.
I was hoping that I could do that, because I knew that, at least with the degree that I had and with my background, that this was an opportunity to just try to do something like really impactful for kids. So I did that for a while, and then got really frustrated with the speed and just ineptitude of the public school system in general.
Okay.
In the U.S.,
understandable.
Which I think a lot of people can probably complain about.
Okay. Yeah. No. It's not the first time I've heard it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
For sure,
and, I mean, it's like everyone tries their best, right? And I don't think there's not one particular villain, but it's just a very complicated system. And when things start to go awry, then they keep going awry. And then eventually, like, you get to a point where you're like, what am I doing here? And, is this really learning, right? Or is this really education? Because I think at the heart of the matter, the question is like, what is an education for a kid, right? Is it really like memorizing what's in a textbook, right? Or is it really following the rules in a classroom, right? Like, all of these things they're larger questions that I know that any good teacher actually really asks themselves when they walk into a classroom. And I felt like there was a lot of things about the obligations that are put on a teacher and the way that a curriculum is set up, and even the way that students are set up either to succeed or fail. Yeah. That the fundamental question of, when you walk out of this classroom, what do you really get that you can apply to the rest of your life? Yeah. It becomes really hard. And, one of the schools that I was teaching at, it was clear. I was teaching chemistry. And it was clear because a lot of the kids, this was kind of a second chance school. A lot of the kids had gone to Rikers, or they had a kid as a teenage pregnancy.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So that's a great group. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. I mean, I actually really valued the resilience of the kids, but no one, they'd never taken chemistry before. And so my question to them was like, what do I want them to get out of taking a chemistry class? And ultimately my answer was, I don't expect them necessarily, if they come out and they, do great things, that's great. But it's also like, I wanted them to believe that they were taking what was considered a hard course and feel like they actually achieved something. So it was like, do something that had a fairly high bar in their mind, and actually be able to say, I actually finished this course, I passed it, I got a grade or whatever, that kind of thing. And so it wasn't even about whether it was actually like, do you know the periodic table? But it was really like, ultimately, do you feel that now you have the confidence to say that this is something that I've done that is hard, and in the future, if there's something that's in front of me that's hard, do I believe that I can do it again?
That sort of feeling of achievement, right? Yeah. I mean, that's pretty amazing, because I was saying, there are some amazing teachers that I've had in my life, and I've had, obviously everyone's had both, right? Some amazing sort of inspiring teachers that are kind of like, let's get it done. And then there's the other guys that are like, you're an idiot. Why don't you go and be a bricklayer or something? And you're like, what? Like, okay, which is nothing against bricklayers. I have a lot of my friends went into the trades, and the trades are doing amazing, and they're making good money in Canada. But I mean, at that time, I didn't do very well in school. I was kind of coasting through and like, with C's, C minus, C plus, C. And like, what is it? The counselor and the teachers, whenever they meet my parents, they'd be like, you know what? He'd be a good like pipe fitter, or he needs to do a trade. He needs to be a bricklayer. I mean, because like the school side of it, yeah, he's not doing very well, but he needs to like work with his hands. So yeah, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's like, hands, well, now I am. Yeah, for sure. In the end, I definitely am. Yeah. And, I mean, and you know what? Right? I actually love it. I love it. Yeah.
And labeling a kid is just such a terrible
It's the worst thing. It's just so like, damaging to a kid. Yeah.
Why would you do that and tell them that, like, well, 90% of the world's not accessible to you. Good luck.
Yeah.
That's
and I mean, for me, coming from I've said this many times, but coming from a really small town, there was us and my uncle. So my uncle and my cousins, we were the only sort of Mexicans in town. And some of my older cousins were, I mean, they'd get there, some delinquent stuff and, a little bit of, drug dealing and stuff like that, which was, way back in the day. And it was only one high school, right? So I was one of the youngest. And so by the time I got to that high school, going through the system with the same teachers, I was basically written off by 98% of the teachers, the principals, basically everybody. And I was like, look, I suck at school. I get it. But I'm not breaking any laws. I just don't like history. Like I just don't like it. It's boring for me. And I mean, when you're at that age, it's like, who cares, right? Obviously now, their history, I like stuff like that. But when you're 16, you don't really care. You're like, I'm going to play soccer all day and, do whatever you want with your buddies. But yeah, you're a kid. It's tough.
But I think that's the other part, is that for a teacher, right? I mean, there's always a way to make something to like make a kid's eyes light up, right? And I'll share a little story. Which I remember, like the first time I was doing teaching, it was like, I think they were ninth graders, and I'm Asian, so imagine 20 years ago, I looked really young, right? I basically looked like one of the kids. And so I remember that they were looking at me like, oh my gosh, like, who is this? This is totally not like what our, normal teachers look like. I was supposed to follow the curriculum of what the biology, this was a biology class. So there's a biology teacher was like teaching, and he was so excited to have the student teacher. And he was just like, you teach the class. I'm like hanging out in the student, like he was one of those like check it in, check it out teachers. So he's just like, I'm going to go to the lounge. I don't really care what you do, just do anything. So it was just,
I've had those. Awesome.
So I stand there and I'm like, hi, I'm Miss Lee. And, so your next chapter is on like categorization of like the flora and fauna, right? Like just learning the classification system. And I just remember seeing like all the kids' faces just fall, because they were like, oh, we thought you were different, but in fact you're just the same. And as
we thought you were going to be fun because you look like us.
So then right on the spot, I was like, this is not going to work. So I said, actually, change of plan. Let's go to the back of the book where there's human anatomy, which you never get to because you always run out of time before you get to the good stuff. But let's start with human anatomy, and actually let's learn about your body, because you can study it. This is you, right? You
kind of practical.
So I just did the whole thing, and I started with the human anatomy, and I said, we'll work backwards, but you'll understand now why classification is important, but you don't need to know it now. Like, let's get you excited about the idea that biology means something to you in your life and is applicable to you. And then let's get to the other stuff. And then now you have a context and framing for learning it. So they were so excited. And, now you're like, you're learning about your muscles, and you've got like ninth grade boys who are starting to like wanting to like work out, and you're like, so these are the biceps, right? These are
biceps, triceps,
your lats, right? And your
quads and the lats,
and everything. And so
traps,
now it's like, all right. And so I felt like that was a really
that's a win for you.
You just read the room, and then you say, more than anything, like, it's important to light their eyes up. And then from there, you've got something now that you can actually mold, right? That you don't have to like you've already gotten their attention. So now what are you going to do with it? So that's,
I agree. I mean, I've also, I've taught kindergarten here. I've coached soccer, and it's almost like you got to pull like an audible. You got to switch something up because you're like, okay, we're going to be doing this today. And then everybody's like, ugh. And then you're like, okay, you know what? We're not doing that. We're doing this. And to have that skill is actually, it's not that common, to be honest, because I've had so many teachers and they were like the typical, when you watch the movie and you have the really monotone teacher who's at the chalkboard and is like, well, everybody, today we're going to learn. And then just the whole class is like that. And then the class would be like, and he would just kind of be like, anybody? No. Okay. Next question. And it's about the worst thing you can do because you just go to sleep. You don't know what to do, and then that's what you think school is. And actually, when you have a good teacher, you're just kind of like, is this the same job? Like, what's going on here? This teacher actually is a cool person. And I have a little story. One of my French teachers it's like a Italian Canadian, and he taught French, and he also was my woodwork teacher. And he was a younger guy, really good guy. Anytime would be like, I don't want to do this. He'd sit with you and he'd chat with you and he'd be like, well, what's going on? And he was like a really good person and he genuinely cared. And you'd be like, what? Teacher actually cares? Like he actually wants to talk to me. That's kind of nice. Right. So this guy actually, I had him for a few different classes. One of my best teachers ever. Turns out, in Taiwan, I don't know about all Asian cultures, but in Taiwan, they say, if somebody taught you anything once, you call them lao shi forever. Maybe like it's like, oh, lao shi. Right. So in Taiwan's like that. So I'm in Taiwan. I'm at my other restaurant, and somebody calls me and they're like, oh, your teacher's calling you, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm trying to think of was it like a Bub Hamufa teacher from a few years ago? Was it like, who knows who it is? And I'm like, yeah, just tell whoever, tell them to come, whatever. And okay, so no big deal. It comes to about 8:30. They're like, oh, your teacher's here. So I go out to the gate and I look at the gate and it's this teacher, my hometown teacher, like my woodwork teacher from high school. This guy's there and he's like, hey, Ed, how you doing? And I'm just like, what the hell are you doing here? That's amazing. I'm like, come on in, man. In Taiwan, like here, just in Tianmu. He comes up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gave him a hug. I'm like, I haven't seen you in so long. Let's have a beer, sit down. I'm like, well, the obvious question is, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, my wife is Taiwanese. And I said, what, really? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I didn't know that. And he's like, you never asked, And I was like, wow. I mean, because you're a kid, you don't think, hey, is your wife from Taiwan? I mean, you're a kid, you're 16. You don't care about the teacher. You don't care about the teacher's personal life. You're just like, you're a kid. And so he came and from then on, we've been really close. And his wife's family lives in Taipei. They'll come in once in a while to eat and we'll chat. Whenever they come to Taiwan to visit, he comes with his wife. They come and we hang out. And when we go back to my hometown, Kitimat, we always make a few days to go and hang out with them because it's so cool. We'll bring them, stuff that they want from here. And it's really a cool experience, to have a teacher like that. It's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, I think I wish, because sometimes, especially when you're a teenager, right, you're like have an attitude and you just don't always appreciate it. Of course, we all do, yeah. You realize later, these are really important people. You want to go back and go, hi, Mrs. So-and-so, hi, Mr. So-and-so. Like, I don't know this, but you really made a memorable impact on my life. And I just want to say thank you. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry
I was kind of an idiot when I was a kid.
Kind of an ass, but I do really remember you and value what you've done. So anyway, really cool. I did that, but kind of decided I wasn't sure if I wanted to stay in education because I felt like there was a lot of things that were broken, and that as an individual, it was just really hard to push that very, very inertial wheel forward.
Of course, yeah.
So then I was just stuck in wondering what I should do next, and I thought, what should I go back to? Medical school? It still didn't feel right. And so my partner at the time said, you're driving me crazy and you should probably de-stress. So why don't you take a ceramics class at the community center and just have fun? And because he suggested it, I was like, no.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
A few weeks
you
later,
should do yoga.
like,
No.
Hey, I'm doing this ceramics class. Do you want to join me? And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do it.
Okay. Beautiful.
And so, like you said, it's like working with your hands. It was like immediate. It was so gratifying, and I loved it. So, suddenly it's like my eyes start to light up about like what I'm doing. And
sure, of course.
And so one thing led to another, and eventually I went to get my master's in art. And became an artist. Amazing. And like did the whole thing, like, got gallery representation. I got to go to Italy and, have exhibition there, a couple exhibitions there. My work was shown in Korea and all over the, around the United States. And it was great. And in that kind of like hat of umbrella, which I still definitely believe that I have, like I'm an entrepreneur artist, is that
sure.
I feel like, most people think of as an artist as saying like, oh, you make a thing and then you hang it up on a wall and then you sell it. And I feel like that's really just a very superficial understanding of what an artist does.
Okay.
And for me, I feel, and for a lot of my artist friends, it's like what you're doing is you really are like, you're constantly observing the temperature and tone and tenor in society, and you're commenting on it, or you are like you're trying to make an observation, a reflection, or something about the time that it is. And all good artists, whether or not it's your like favorite pop star or a writer, they're doing something that actually really does capture like this moment right now. And
for sure.
And for me, it's like an artist works with any kind of medium, right? So it's not just like they do painting or they, do sculpture. It's like they can take technology and they'll do something with it, right? And they'll have a reason why they're doing it. And so as I was making a lot of art, I was actually doing a lot of video art and I was getting into technology. And I was one of the very last people who got a smartphone, like really the one of the last. I had a flip phone for the longest time. And so
those were awesome though. Those were awesome phones. I love those. Yeah. I love them. I love those. They're like hockey pucks. Yeah.
But it was funny, like people would be sending like texts and images and they would say, Susie, did you get my text? And I would say, what text? What are you doing? Why don't you just send me an email? And they're like, oh my God.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So at the same time, I was single and out of school, and I didn't want to like sort of keep dating the same people that were in the group of friends of mine that I had. And so I was like, well, how do you meet new people? And everyone's like, oh, you have to go on these dating websites. And this was like all before, Tinder just started.
Okay. So I never even experienced any of that. So tell me about it. Yeah.
Thank God, because categorically,
it must have been awful. Like,
So, and remember,
it's like the swipe thing, right? Swipe right, swipe left. Is that a thing? Or is that just like a meme?
That's not what it was. But at the time, it was like you either did like these giant resume forms on like eHarmony, where it's like you basically were like, here is why I should be loved, right? And then there was the other kind, which is Tinder, which was like, let me go shopping for people, right? It was like there was shopping for humans or like a job resume, and I was like, oh my God,
shopping for humans. Wow. Okay. Hashtag shopping for humans.
I just immediately was like, I know how to do this better. I just know how to do this better. And so my next art project was basically like, I said, I'm gonna develop a dating app.
I love that. Okay.
And then what was crazy is that it exploded actually with a lot of press, because this was before Bumble. This was before a lot of the women-led dating apps. It was simply like, I just said, if you make women feel uncomfortable anywhere, they're gonna leave, because that's what women do when they feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, if you have a creepy app, then they're not going to want to stay. And
tomorrow or the day after. Yeah, this week it's still. It's still Tuesday, man. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I'm doing a live podcast right now. Yeah. It's all right. It's like I'll chat with you in a bit, man. Yeah. You always say that, and you always run away when you have time. Jeez, man. All right. Okay. I'll talk to you in a sec. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. It's okay.
You're running a business.
Yeah. It's okay. Sorry. This is not a green screen in the back, everybody. I mean, there's people running around and stuff. Yeah. So the dating app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So it blew up because girls, I mean, women, sorry, they don't, they think different than men. And I'm guessing that most of like the shopping for humans was created by men. My guess, right? So you created a female, feminist dating app. Okay.
And it wasn't even
I
like,
love
I
it.
didn't even go out thinking like, oh, it's going to be a feminist dating app. That's actually just what people came to it because they were like, it's not made by men, so therefore it must be feminist. But the idea was that it was it was just premised around the idea that conversation was what sparked chemistry, and that what you needed to find was something that would actually serendipitously connect to people. And so we had questions of the day, and people would basically create these questions, and every day was a totally new question. So it would be anything from how many cats is too many cats to
that's so artsy. I love it. That's really cool. Yeah. Okay.
But how you answer that question will tell you a little bit about your personality, right?
I guess. Yeah, for sure.
And then one of my favorite questions was actually formulated by a friend of mine, Leslie, who's a writer. And the question was, where does rain sound best?
Okay, wow, mine's kind of blown there. How do you answer that?
Well, so how would you answer that, Eddie?
How would I answer that? Oh my God, put me on the spot.
Here's on your dating profile, your wife's looking for you and saying, is Eddie my kind of guy? How would you answer that?
How does rain sound best?
Where does rain sound
where? Best? Okay. I like when rain. I like on the beach, and I like like those really cheap tin roofs that are in Taiwan and in Mexico. I love the sound of rain on that. It's weird. It's probably annoying for most people, but I love that little clanging on there, that's what I would say probably. I have no idea. Yeah. I have no idea.
I think that's like I think that actually tells a little bit about you, right? Because then at that point you could say, why would you say Mexico, right? Like it tells you a little bit, right? So it's like suddenly someone can start a conversation and they can grab onto something, right? So anyway, so that was an interesting run, and it ended up being a startup, right? So it was like we actually were like raising money with it, and and suddenly me as a single artist was like now running a team and raising money and going to Silicon Valley and doing all this stuff, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So we were around for 4 years, and then it did have to close, and then I paused, and then my co-founder Mike came up to me a couple years later and was like, hey, I left Microsoft and I tried my hand at filmmaking, and now I'm thinking about doing my own startup. And at the time I was like, good luck on that. Let me know, how I can support you, merry way. But he had said that he was interested in storytelling, that he wanted to help people become, to basically actualize their ideas of being able to be a storyteller visually. Okay. So that kind of made my artist head go, what's that about? And so I said, tell me more. And that's basically how SoopahGenius and Catapult started, was this idea that people now are taking lots of little videos. There's obviously YouTube Shorts and TikTok and all these other things that people are doing, and that video is going to become sort of the exchange that photos used to be, that text used to be, right? It's emojis. It's like we'll share with each other short videos, especially as cell signals become stronger and more ubiquitous. Sure. So,
agree. Yeah.
So that's where we are now, and depending on your point of view, you can either say that I am an Asian parent's worst nightmare, where it was you were going to be a doctor and God knows what you're doing now.
That was one of my questions, the Asian parents. Okay. Yeah.
Or you could just say I'm kind of drawn to a little bit of chaos, and I
think it's good to stray from the path, right? I think.
Well, for my personality, I like being in a more I don't know kind of space. I like this idea that you don't know the answer, and that you've got to basically use everything that you have to try to figure out how to hustle and, ask people, and, not be afraid to look stupid and fail every, often in order to basically get to the next stage and go, okay, now I've got it. moving on. And so I think that this idea of like, you know, the problem kind of revealing itself in like little bits and pieces and then trying to figure out little parts, like I like that. And so, yeah, so being an entrepreneur feels really like good to me, I think.
It's kind of like you're living in chaos, right? Like,
yes,
I can't even remember what it was like to have sort of like when I taught and stuff, that not really a 9 to 5, because I think when I taught kindergarten and that,
by the way, Eddie, you
even easier.
So cute. That's such a cute image. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's actually my favorite job ever that I've ever had. And it gave me like, so I've told the story before, but when I came here, I was a super introverted person. I was very shy. I was like, people can't believe when I go back and I'm not shy anymore. Right. So people, they can't believe that. And I think when I coached soccer and all that stuff, that helped me a lot. But the thing that helped me the most was being at the front of a group of like 5 to 10 5-year-olds that are just kind of like, they're not judging you. They're just, hey, let's do something fun. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, let's do something fun. Kindergarten's supposed to be fun. So I made everything really fun. My first 2 years here, I was with a really small school, and I had a group of 5 kids. And by the end of the 2 years, their English was like my daughter's English. Like her English is fluent. Like she's a native speaker, and their English was just like that. And their parents were super happy. Everybody was super happy. And the reason I stopped with that school was because the manager and the owner were just like super power trippers. And I'm like, look, the kids' English, like they could go to the States or Canada at 5 years old and speak perfect English with everybody there. But you're saying I didn't do this, I didn't write my communication books or whatever, so I'm getting penalized for that. So that's I don't know if you ever taught here. I don't think you did, but that's kind of what it's like here. It's really like they got their thumb on you and they're like, well, we pay you well, so you do everything we say every way. And I'm like, but I'm not even like an educated teacher. I'm just really good with kids, and the kids that I have are fantastic. I mean, the parents were just like, they'd bring the kids to my house to play. Like they would take me out for dinner. Everybody was super happy except for the manager, because I wouldn't finish like the traditional communication books or anything like that, because I was actually playing with the kids and hanging out with the kids. And those kids still come and see me now at this restaurant, and and it's really weird because they were 5 and now they're like 21. It's ridiculous. It's really weird. There was this one time, like I coached soccer. It's like, oh my gosh, these kids come in and I see them in like college. So there's this one, these little girls that I used to coach at this one school close to here. Actually, Quayshan, it's a school close by. It's a good school. I coached soccer there for a while. And this one day, like maybe 1 or 2 summers ago, this girl, like tall, thin, like beautiful girl comes in. She comes over to me. She runs over, and she's I would say 21, 22. Like let's say she's fully developed. She looks incredible. She comes, gives me this huge hug, and she's just like, and I'm just like, hi, who are you? And she's like, oh, and she tells me her, and I don't want to say her name on here. She's like, oh, I'm this girl. I'm like, oh, I remember you. Oh, you were like 8. Now you're like 22. And all the staff was like staring at me like, who is this girl? Like, what's going on? You know, we're going to tell his wife. And I'm just like, oh, shoot. Yeah. And I sat with her, and it was just like, it was a crazy feeling for sure. Because if it's a boy,
I know you guys know how to drink, but you're not allowed to drink because you still are 8 years old in my mind.
You're still 8 years old to me, right? And it's funny because the boys kind of look the same, right? They're just kind of stretched out. Maybe they look a little bit more manly, but the boys kind of look the same. But the girls look completely different. Like they're almost like women. But I had them when they were like 6, you know, and it's just like it's weird. So it's a kind of a weird feeling, you know, but it's cool that they even remember me, because I somewhat remember my kindergarten teacher, but not that much. But yeah, I know these guys, they come in like, oh, you were like the best. We love you. When you coach, we love this. They tell me these memories they had of their childhood, and I don't remember them. I'm like, oh yeah, that was awesome. But I've always
Well, I think that's the thing
just
is
nice
like,
to everybody. Yeah.
when the education system is a lot, it just has to be a lot more rigid and fixed, right? I mean, people don't want people experimenting on their kids, and I kind of understand that now,
Oh, for sure.
I'm a kid, but I think one of the things that's really interesting about a startup is that, a startup isn't just a tiny company, right? It's like the idea of a startup is that you're really trying to think about what are potential problems in society and completely reframing them, right? So it's like, Mike, my co-founder, like he had a really good way of describing it, which is he said, like if you present the problem of storytelling to Microsoft, they will think about it in terms of Word and Office, right? Like,
okay,
they have to think about it in terms of the things that they've already created, right?
Okay,
but we have a clean slate, and so therefore we can think about the problem in a completely different way and come at it in a totally different way. And that's this idea of what they oftentimes call disruption in the startup world, which is that, you disrupt something because you're actually really thinking about the problem in a different way and therefore solving it in a very different way, and then redirects like the way that society ends up doing something. And so, for us, it was
one of the best parts of human society, I think, stuff like that. The disruption is amazing. Yeah. I cut you off. I just wanted to say that. Keep going.
So my other co-founder, Constance, so she's our technical lead, and she has a lot of experience in terms of software architecture. And so the two of them are like this powerhouse engineering duo. And in fact, oftentimes, like I'll be like, they'll be talking about something architecture, and I'm like, okay, I took calculus at one point in time. I just don't say anything stupid. Like just nod and be like, yep, that sounds good.
That's so tough. Yeah. I've been in that situation. Yeah. Even on this podcast where I'm like, okay.
That sounds good. Good idea. That sounds efficient. But we happened to meet someone that Mike met someone who was really into like live streamers and and gaming in particular.
I'm curious why you chose live streaming out of all the things you could have chose out there. I love it because that's what I do, and the reason I live stream is because I don't want to edit. I don't want to plan too much. It's like, let's just chat.
Exactly.
And then but with the editing a video, it's like, oh wow, it's a whole other thing. So why did you guys choose live streaming? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it was a bit serendipitous that Mike happened to meet our friend Kyle, and Kyle was like really getting into this and saying, like, specifically at the time, because he's a caster in the gaming community, is saying like gamers, stream hours and hours and hours of footage. There's no way that it's easy for them to like
definitely
highlight things out of a 5-hour stream. They have to download the whole thing, and it's impossible, and they don't want to scan through the whole thing.
And rewatch it. Yeah.
And so we said, oh my God, like there's a huge demand for it in there. And so we started looking into it and thought, this is actually something that's doable for us. And because there's some channels like Twitch or YouTube that are really the big players, we could actually focus on those and not just be like, whatever video and whatever format you have, cool, we will figure out what to do. So
that'll be tough. That would be tough. Yeah.
So we ended up starting there, and then realizing that, not only was live streaming interesting for gamers, but as you said, it's actually something now that I think, we're really betting that it's going to become live, like just mainstream. This idea that, everybody can have an app that's basically like, whether it's a pandemic time, there's always going to be limitations on how people can be physically in a different space, right? So you might be like, oh, my cousin's having this birthday party or this anniversary or wedding or something like this, and I can't be there. But now with live streaming, it's like you can. And one of the things that I really liked about live streaming is that it's not asynchronous like a lot of social media, right? So it's like, you're on these other apps and you're just like, it's 2 a.m., I'm by myself and I'm feeling a little bored and sad, or I can't sleep. And so you're just like scrolling through stuff, and then you just don't feel better, right? Like either you're doom scrolling because of the news, or like you're seeing everyone's like shiny, happy life, and you're like, right? But with live streaming, it's like, you have to be there when everyone else is there. And like people are now like, they're chatting, right? They're making comments. Oftentimes with like gamers, you have this like riffraff and they're having their own side conversation while the game is going on, right?
That's amazing. Yeah, I love it. I love that.
Yeah.
Sorry, just a quick comment
really,
here. Yeah. Asian parents are so obsessed with wanting kids to be doctors. I can relate to that.
Well, you know, luckily
awesome.
my sister became a doctor, so we have one in the family.
So she saved your skin a little bit, yeah?
She did, and you know what's interesting is that, you know, I give my parents credit for actually being flexible. So, you know, they watch me kind of implode and like not go the doctor route and become a teacher and then become an artist. And it's like, oh my God, my economic viability is like going down, down, down. So, but with my sister in college, they were like,
they could sleep at night. They could sleep.
Take whatever classes you want. And then she ended up actually being the doctor. And she's a very good one. And she is an ophthalmologist.
I'll message you when it comes.
So, yeah. So, you know, I have nothing against, you know, kids being doctors by any means.
For sure. We need doctors. I mean, especially right now, right? We need doctors. Right. Like for me, I was never, I remember being a kid and my dad, I was, you know, I had some friends. There was one particular guy in school whose dad was like this super rich business guy. And for his 16th birthday, he got like a brand new Ford Mustang. And I was like, oh man, I want a Mustang. And my dad's like, get a job, buddy. You know, and I'm like, okay. So we were chatting and my dad said, you know what? I talked to your mom. We will get you a car if you get straight A's. And I was like, fuck that. I never got, I'm like, no way. I didn't even, I'm like, okay, well, there goes that idea. So I guess I'm walking, right? So I didn't even try. It's pretty ridiculous. Yeah. I was like, forget that. Yeah. And he's like, all right, cool. So what's for dinner? I'm like, I don't know.
But you know, Eddie, you are capable of doing it. I've met you. I know you are capable of doing it. So.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Check this out. We got somebody saying hi to you here.
I know. Hey, Delia. How are you? So anyway, so we ended up starting that and working with live streamers, and it's been great. And so I think one of the things that you have said is actually, you know, if you want to create a video for a business, or if you want to, you know, start to network and become, you know, have like some connection in a community, it's like doing video, like where you have to like hire a videographer and do it. Like, it's
so
really
tough.
Right. And so, and you know, it's a lot, it's very daunting of a thing to be able to do. But if you're like, download this app, push go live, and then suddenly you're streaming, like a lot of people can understand that this is actually a very doable thing. And so, in fact, Eddie, that's what I was doing when we were watching, like I noticed that you were live streaming and I was like, wait a second, I think we could totally help this guy. And so, yeah, I'd love to kind of, like, you know.
Yeah, no, it was great.
You were like,
I don't even know how that happened, how we met. Yeah, I don't even remember.
I pinged you and said on Facebook, I was like, hi, we can help. Let's talk.
Yeah. And you know what? The funny thing is I get hit up on Facebook and Instagram and all this stuff. LinkedIn is like spam fest. It's crazy. So all the time. And then, you know, it's usually like, oh yeah, cool. And then everybody wants something. And then yours, I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then when we actually met, it's like, oh crap, you actually can help me. This is great. Oh, because you're actually, I mean, I love doing the podcast. Sometimes they get long, and to go through them and then to get it, download them and put them on Adobe Premiere Pro. I used to have a full-time employee working with me at the time, and she did some pretty good work, but it's hard to get exactly what you want because everybody has their kind of idea. And I'm like, no, I want this. And then I don't know what to say, but I don't want to say the younger kids, the younger generation, if you tell them, no, I don't like that, this is what I want, they're pissed at you the whole day. And I'm like, but I actually pay you to do that, to make the video that I want. Like, and they're mad at you. They're like, well, they're like throwing laptops around and like having a little hissy fits. And I'm like, but I'm paying for this product. Like, what's going on? And it's crazy. So when I found you guys, I thought, okay, let's try it out. And the price is fantastic, right? I don't know if the price has changed, so I won't mention price. You can mention pricing when we get to there. And it was so easy to use. I mean, it's been a few months that I haven't done anything because obviously the whole pandemic thing has just been, my mind's been blown. But now that it's kind of easing up, I'll be able to start making these clips again. And the first couple times I did it, I was like, you know, I've tried Adobe Premiere Pro and I've tried, what is it, Final Cut. I've tried all these things, even like these phone apps. And it's like, oh man, it's almost like I need to take a course on this. Yeah, I need to take a course on this. I need to get up at 6 and to maybe like make time from 6 to 8 to make this happen. And I'm like, first of all, I don't have the time. Second of all, I don't really want to. I just want nice little clips. So I was paying someone to do that. And then I found you guys and you're like, yeah, we can do that. And I was like, really? I didn't believe it. And then you started to show me and I was kind of blown away. And your fees are fantastic. And from then on, we've done, you know, different packages with little videos and thumbnails and stuff like that. And I just think that's amazing because even if something as simple as a thumbnail, shout out to Full Value Dan. He's got a really good YouTube channel and he's over and he watches the shows. And if he's here, say something if you're on, Dan. He watches the shows and he loves them. And he's like, everything's good, but your thumbnails are just, you know, how much time are you putting into your thumbnail? And I'm like, I got this like free little app thing. It helps me make them in like 3 minutes. And he's just like, yeah, okay, I can see that it's taking you 3 minutes to make that thumbnail. And I'm like, okay, he's like, if you got a good thumbnail, you're going to get more views. You're going to attract more people. The channel's going to grow. And I know that, but I can't go to thumbnail school. You know, like it's like, I got to go to thumbnail school now. It's like, I'm making hot sauce. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, like this morning I made hot sauce and dough and I helped my guy grind the corn and I delivered to Gentan and I took my daughter to school and I got this little Fitbit thing recently. So I'm making sure I get 10, 12,000 steps. And I'm like, now I got to put everything aside and learn thumbnails. It's like,
and in fact, I think that's what we realized too, is like, you know, if you think about kind of the hats that people play, it's like when you stream, you're kind of the talent, right? It's like, this is your thing. This is your content. You own this as a creator and an artist. It's like, I appreciate that. It's like, this is yours, right? Like Eddy Live is something that you developed and this is like your voice and your brand. But it's like, then you don't want to put on another hat and be like, now I'm the editor hat, now I'm the blah, right? And it's like, that's something that some other people can do. And what we want to do is to basically say, you know, I think there's a lot of software now that tries to say, oh, we're kind of AI and we'll tell you like what the best bits are. But, you know, we recognize very quickly that in fact, that's not what AI does very well, right? Like, you know, if I gave you 10 minutes of footage and I gave someone else 10 minutes of footage, you would all come up with very different things, right? Because for sure. Everyone has a different perspective. People are different. That's the amazing part. So again, when we go back to this idea of storytelling, it's like, you give people 3 different elements and people will come up with like infinite numbers of stories. And that's what's amazing about this ingenuity. So for us, we were just like, how do we kind of lift what's in a stream so that someone can actually be able to scrub through it quickly, be able to find the good bits that they want, and then make the highlight reel, make the, you know, the funny montage, you know, throw something out in like, you know, live breaking news. In fact, my sister was doing that. So she was streaming, she was on Catapult and there was an active shooter actually in our neighborhood and she was streaming it. And then she told me, so I grabbed like a little, you know, a couple scenes of what was happening and threw it out there so that she could actually share it on social media. And so even something like that is like, you know, oftentimes you're watching breaking news and it's like a live stream, but that live stream is like 4 hours long and people are like, I don't know what's happening. And so if somebody could, you know, they can use Catapult stream and then as it's happening, be grabbing clips, putting them together and then firing them out. So it's,
I think that's great.
Doing, so,
I also, one of the things that I really liked was sometimes the stream just gets really long and, you know, you do it every week and you had a good time. And you remember there was parts that I got to get a clip of this one, but you don't remember the time. You don't look at the time or anything like that. But so I think what Catapult did well was, I don't know what it does, but it's sensing emotion or something. And it's got all these little like clips that says, oh, something peaked here.
Something interesting happening here. Yeah.
Something's happening. And then so you click on that and it's usually somebody laughing or moving or doing something. And I'm like, I remember that. That's a great clip. So rewind it like 10, 20 seconds, and then, go to the end. And that was a fantastic. I thought that was great because going in and doing that manually is impossible.
Very painful.
I mean, not impossible, but it's like a full-time job.
We also have now live bookmarking. So somebody could have, who was watching this, would actually be able to just hit Control B while we're streaming, and then on your Catapult account, all of these would actually be, it would be bookmarked. It's like, oh, Eddie said something funny. There was a great story there. Da, 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 da. They would actually just be firing it off right now as we were streaming. So
beautiful.
So there's something that we can do live, and there's something that we can do post after your stream is done. And as you know, it's like, we can, what else do you want, Eddie? Because whatever you want on the video, we can make it happen.
That's fantastic. No, I think it's great. And I think I wanted to get you on for a long time because I think there's a lot of people out there that don't know that there are softwares like this that can actually make your life easier, other than, you having to go home and rewatch the video. And everyone's like, and everybody's always like, oh, your voice you're really good on camera. When I see myself on camera, I'm like, oh my God, I suck. So to watch hours and hours of myself, it's torture for me. I'm like, I don't want to watch myself. I hate watching it. So to see these little clips is great because I'm like, oh, I remember that. That was funny. That was good. So yeah, I'm like, I don't want to watch hours and hours of myself.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Can I show a little demo now?
So let's I wanted to do show a demo. So bring it up and I'll bring the screen up. So for those of you that are watching, this is going to show you how easy it is to use Catapult for live streaming here. So pop it up there and then I'll swipe it on. Okay. There we go. All right.
Sorry, wait. Let me.
Okay. No problem. Yeah.
Let me actually do the other one. So hang on.
No problem. So Susie is going to show us how we go on into the Catapult software. She's going to do it right here live and show us how easy, how quick it is to jump on there and to just get it done. Give yourself a little clip. Okay. So go for it. Here we go. I'll let you take the show. Do it,
so this is a stream of a woman who is doing a cooking demo. She's actually doing lard sealed pork belly confit. So there's some AI that we have, which basically, I know, oh my God, it was so delicious.
Oh, damn. I bet it was.
So this is like the emotions tab, which basically is what you were talking about, where
the emotions tab. Yep.
High bits of emotions. So, we basically break it down in the stream. This is a pretty short stream. She was just, basically doing a little demo, but she's actually doing a great job. When you make your clips, they all show up over here and you can title them so you know exactly what's going on. And then your entire stream, we grab them all. So like I'll show you on the other one, but you basically can play it. And then this is her stream.
So eventually, when this clip's enough,
then when you can jump ahead, you can say like, oh, I want to be able to like look at that.
Oh wow! I want to meet her, and I want to eat that food.
And like, oh my God, I was like,
this is what you start with.
Okay.
It's kind of cool and sexy on its own, right? But this.
Oh wow, that's like chicharrones. I love it.
Yeah. So then, if you're like, okay, that's what I want, I can start the time.
Kind of cool and sexy on its own, right? But this.
Then I'm gonna like title it like
beginning and end or something. Yeah.
Pork
confit, golden brown,
and I will save this clip.
Crisp up.
Okay.
And that's all it. And then you can basically go to create, which is now where you can download the clips. And then now, instead of basically, you never download the entire stream. You only download just what you want, right? And in fact, maybe you don't even want them all. And remember that we're actually doing this. Your work is always saved. So, if you want to go back and like, Eddie, what we were doing with your like last hot wings, we just grabbed one clip from about 10 of your streams and were able to make a compilation of that. So that was actually a really cool thing to do. So the other thing I want to share with you is a stream that actually I'll demo the I'll demo something with one of the gamers that we have. So
here we go.
So the other thing is that we actually store all of the people's streams in the cloud, so you never have to upload or download anything. So this is somebody.
That's pretty. I mean, wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
And so, she has like 4-hour streams. She has a 6-hour one. It doesn't matter. We will grab all of them. And so,
and who is this? This is one of your Twitch streamers, yeah?
This is one of our Twitch streamers. Her name is Kate. So we're just going to grab one of these ones here. And so for her, she has emotions. She also has a fan interactions, which is we can detect higher activity. So she has a lot of like chat activity.
Chat.
You can search. So let's say you want to search for something, like something
that's cool. Somebody said something funny. Yeah.
So let's say, I don't know, let's call it like microphone. I don't know, whatever they say, you can basically like search for that. So let's go to one of her emotions and just see what we've got here. So as you can see, we can see a bunch of these here.
Is the obstacle?
So we know something funny happened there, right? So again, grab the clips and go. She also has been bookmarking live. So all of these clips that are here, she's actually while she was streaming. So she was like, ooh, something interesting happened there. And that's what I want to grab. So she can then make a video very quickly, which she does regularly with this. So it's very quick. I feel like this is a really different way, and it opens up a lot of possibilities for people now to basically use their stream as content creation. So, what's great is that, let's say you do one stream like we do now, Eddie. We'll make and in fact, we'll do this, which we do with all of your streams, right? We'll make about a 10-minute YouTube video, right? Or 10-15-minute YouTube video.
Yes.
We can make little shorts, right? We can make as many shorts as you want. We do your audio podcast. So we pull out the audio and put this up, and you get
I love that. That's amazing. Yeah.
You get that all from one stream. So
I think it's fantastic. I think you guys have done something amazing. I think that emotions button is amazing. Being able to bookmark live is amazing, because there's some time when I've got something and something's funny, something really funny happens, and I'd love to just hit a button. Somebody's home. I'd like to hit a button where it's like, go back there later and catch that, because I'd love to do that. So I need to dive back in. My one of the last questions that I have for you is how, I know how, but I want you to explain, how can people join Catapult? How do people get their hands on Catapult? Yeah.
So we'll share the link hopefully on this stream, but it's basically, hi. This is,
kids are home, say hi. Hi.
Hi.
I love kids.
Hi.
Oh my Lord, you're cute. Hi. Oh my gosh, you're cute. How are you? Good? Yeah. Oh my, you're cute.
Oh, and this is Sahara over here. This is her friend Sahara. Whoops.
Hi, Sahara.
Hey.
Hi, how are you? Oh, you're on TV. That's a great smile. I like that. How are you? You good?
Bed.
Yeah.
Your bed, yeah.
Mommy.
Yeah. Can I finish this and then?
Mommy.
All
Yes.
right.
Mommy.
Yep.
Mommy.
Yes.
Mommy. Mommy.
Yep.
Mommy. Melly gave me a lollipop.
What?
Yeah, we got a lollipop. Okay, can you
I'll tell you a secret. I love
Mommy,
lollipops too.
Mommy, this
I
lollipop
love
is
lollipops.
not that sweet because it's strawberry, so it's not that sweet.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, of course. That means you can have two, right?
Okay. Hey, Hannah, can you say bye-bye? And then I'll talk to you in a little bit, okay?
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye. My gosh, you're so cute.
Okay, good job. You want to follow Sahara? Can you follow Sahara?
All right.
Yeah, so
Okay. So that's it. That's the stream. Oh, I love kids. I love kids.
So
I
you
miss
can
my daughter
sign
now.
up, get on our waiting list at www.catapult.stream. And in fact, let me just share that.
I have it on here.
Yeah,
just put it in the chat. We can put it in the chat right now. Yeah.
So
let's put
if
it
you
up. Let's
stream
pull
with
that up.
Twitch, you can basically do that. And
Sure. Let me pull that
if
down
you
here.
stream on YouTube or something else, you can sign up for that. And if Eddie, if it's someone that you know personally, we can help them accelerate by jumping the queue, because you've obviously helped us and been a great customer.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
And there's an invite code, which is join Catapult. One word, just CATAPULT.
Yeah.
and we'll help you get on there.
So right now you're doing Twitch, and you're working on YouTube, right?
Yep,
and
that will be.
How close is YouTube to being complete?
Oh, like next week. So or into this week. So yeah. So basically, people will sign up, and we can get people ready very, very soon. So yeah.
I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions, and please just let them know. They can contact me too at Susie@SoopahGenius.com. And yeah. And it's someone just said it's really good to work on something you're passionate about. Totally.
That's when you work on something you're passionate about. It's not really work. So you if you love it, you're going for it, and then. Yeah, it doesn't feel like work. That's what I think anyway. So it's fantastic.
Well, it feels, I mean, it can be hard, but it's funny. Remember I talked about, like, oh, if I go become a doctor, like I'm never going to sleep. So, and I'm like, oh, funny. Yeah. Like as an artist and entrepreneur, you still don't sleep, but it's like you're excited about what you're doing. And so it's okay.
I've been working on some new stuff and I'm just like, I can't sleep sometimes, and but it's kind of a good thing. And again, I got this little Fitbit thing, and it's like you slept 5 hours, and 2 of it was deep sleep, and I'm like, I don't think that's good. So I gotta get less excited about things sometimes. Yeah. So we got Fajar speaking that says, "Hey, remember me?"
Yep. That's Fajar, and there's Francesca saying hi. So
yeah, I got Francesca.
We'll get on your stream at some point.
Francesca, let's hook up because we got to do it. I have some open slots this month. Life of an Entrepreneur. That's the attorney on a journey. I've been following her for a long time. I got to meet her. So we're here actually at a meetup for Taiwan content creators. And I love to get her on the show as well. I love that mask in the picture, by the way. Beautiful. And she's got a pretty cool story as well. So yeah, maybe in about 2 weeks or so. I'll message you later. But yeah, thank you. Perfect. I'm back in Taiwan. She just got back, right? Yeah, I remember. Mm-hmm. I'm not stalking you, I promise. So I know you just got back and you're just out of, what is the word? Quarantine, right? Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful. So everybody who is watching now, Catapult, it's kind of like the secret weapon for me. I have to be honest, I haven't done much lately because mind has been blown a little bit. But now I'm going to get back on it. And ideally, with like 5 minutes a day, you can have content every day. Like you can go in, pull, and I think Catapult, the last thing is, in my opinion, who is Catapult for? I think Catapult for me, for my podcast, is fantastic. For video game streamers, for anybody that goes out and does any kind of live streaming, I think it'd be great. For you guys, I actually have some ideas of, because we're a restaurant, we do a lot of food, and I want to do some sort of food things. I want to go out and I want to get some Taiwanese food. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yeah. It's so fun to watch, like the cooking streams. It's I want
to do that, but I also want to do some like Anthony Bourdain stuff where we go out and we can go into a market and we can see some Taiwanese people doing some really Taiwanese traditional foods. And I want to do a lot of that stuff. And again, I'm going to do it live because that's easy for me. And the funny thing is, when I try to do a recorded video, absolutely awful at it. But if I just hit that live button, I can go for all day. No problem. It's weird. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I want to go out. There's so many cool things, so many amazing restaurants, so many amazing people, so many good foods out here. And I'd love to just go around and show that to people as well. So that was something we wanted to talk about after episode 100. So we're there now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so that's something I want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And also some of our current streamers we're going to be helping someone with their wedding.
Nice.
So
never even thought about
that. One of the wedding party guests is going to be live streaming the whole thing so that people can watch it from wherever they are. And
that
then we'll
is unbelievable.
We have artists who are now going to be doing it creatively. They're going to use live streaming as like filmmaking material. They're going to be using it to like do interviews with other artists. We have people who are dancers. We have people who are doing it while they're traveling.
I love it.
Basically, it's like, you hit go live. And if you want to do that and start connecting with people in real time, we will help you do that. And then, you'll do that part, and we will help you then make content from that. So yeah.
I really think live is, Fajar speaking, yeah, it's really fun to use Catapult. Awesome. Thanks for the comment. I appreciate you guys jumping on and chatting, and it really makes things more fun. Yeah, and we got one more here. Boom, there you go. I'm not stalking you, so don't worry about it. And yeah, I think what I was saying, that's an amazing idea, because with the COVID and people can't travel, but you can get a lot out of a live stream. I think you can, and you just hit go live. You have a nice little setup there. People can come and talk to you. You can chat. I think it's beautiful. I think what you guys are doing is amazing. I think live stream is amazing. I think it can really connect the world. But I want to leave the last thought with you. What's the future plan for Catapult?
So we're going to be doing, so we're basically in a kind of a private beta right now. And in a month or so, we'll actually be launching very publicly. So this is what the waiting list is for. We'll, as a startup, we'll be doing some really active fundraising. We have already raised a pre-seed round by AppWorks, which is actually an accelerator in Taiwan, which is what brought us here. And so yeah, so we're just going to keep going and keep improving the product. And basically, the more people use us and the more they say, like, this is what I want or this is what I need, that's what drives our innovation. Is, you know, we take what people who are our regular users and we say, like, whatever it is that you guys need, we will be able to make it happen. So
that sounds like I need, sometimes during my live stream, I need a little massage. Maybe can you guys work on something? Yeah, no, so that's fantastic. I mean, you guys have helped me so much, and what I love the most is I'm in control of the stream. Like, I have all my footage, and I can choose what I want. I'm not going to piss somebody off saying I don't like that, I want this. And I mean, the pricing is ridiculously cheap. I love that. I mean, I don't want to. I don't know if you want to talk about the pricing. But
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you want to mention that?
Yeah. So basically, the plans start at $10 a month.
US,
yeah, $10 a month, or about 300 NT, and then it kind of goes up in there depending on what you need. And you know, but we're not talking like we're talking like $50 to $100 a month to basically even have like final videos for you, a whole social media package. So.
I love it.
It's very affordable, and it can be very creative, and so Eddie, we love working with you. You've been kind of like you know, someone that we've really been inspired by, and in fact, we have someone working. I was just looking at your final video for episode 100. It's looking good.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, yeah, awesome. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. So
that was a marathon of craziness. I was so mentally like destroyed after that. So I'm so happy that it's like, we're just chilling again. It's great. So I have some pretty big plans. Like I said, I love this software. I want to show this to as many people as we can. So let's share it. Let's put everything. Let's make little clips. We'll start blasting it to everybody. And I love it. Let's do it.
Thanks, Eddie, for having me on. As usual, you make people feel comfortable as a host, and I've been enjoying working with you and seeing you grow. It's been really cool to see that.
Hey, thank you so much. Thanks, Attorney on Journey, for the comment there. Thank you, guys. Thank Susie. Thanks, Catapult. I hope I can actually see you in person sometime soon. I would like to get you guys back in, and we'll do the actual hot wing thing. We'll let it go maybe around 150. Maybe around 150 I'll get you in here, and we'll do some of that. We'll get some good clips. But you know what we could do is we could do that maybe at episode 150, something, like way down the line, and we can bring in maybe some of the people that are interested in Catapult for live streaming, or people that are already using Catapult. We can have like a whole Catapult party and stuff. So that'd be great.
Totally can do that. Oh, and by the way, a friend of mine, she had no idea that I knew you, and she was like, "Oh my God, have you been to Eddie's in Tianmu? It's so good." And in fact, so she went. She went 2 days ago, and today she was like, "All I want are his enchiladas."
Okay. Oh, did she give us a comment on Facebook? There was a really good enchilada comment recently.
It's
awesome.
possible,
Yeah.
but
It's possible, right?
So regardless, we are coming very soon,
okay.
and we're
Sounds
going to be
good.
all again.
Okay.
So yes.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I can't wait to see. It's funny because I feel I know you super well, and in person we've only met the one time.
Yeah.
But technology is fantastic. So that's
people
life,
together.
right? Yeah, it does. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing the show. You're fantastic on camera. You need to do more camera stuff. Okay, you're doing fantastic. You can do some live stream stuff because you're really good at it. So I know you want to go play with your daughter. I want to go play with my daughter. So we'll catch you guys next week for episode 102, and we'll see you soon, Susie. All right.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, everybody.